opening up the open mic sign up 15 minutes before the hour. And we are so very, very fortunate that we typically fill right up, and that has been that has been the case for today. And we have created, as you see, well, if you're just coming on, you won't see this in the chat, but the list for today, as well as the waiting list for reading, given what we think we might be able to get to in our open mic today, is full, and so Kim will not be taking any additional names. However, in the very, very rare event that we can get to more than 16 people on the open mic today, after our two phenomenal features, I should say, we will get in as many people as we can get in, but we feel pretty confident that we're probably pretty full at our 16, but if we can get beyond that, we'll put in a couple more names. So thank you one and all for being here. I'm really looking forward to having this reading today. And also, I've been full of poetry this weekend, being at this poetry writing retreat that I'm at. And it has really anchored for me the power of listening to poetry. So for all of you who are here to listen and not read, I want to just applaud your efforts to be here to support those folks reading. I've come to so appreciate just listening. And of course, obviously, we need poets to read for there to be something to listen to. But the listening is so powerful. And I'm really looking forward to listening today. Well, I'll just say very, very quickly, again, the open mic is full up for today. We have a wild card up in 2 weeks. So if you're not able to read today in the open mic, please come 15 minutes before the hour to the program next time to likely assure yourself a slot on the open mic. And we are at the top of the hour, so I will ask Don to give me the signal to start the. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome. Bienvenidos. It's beautiful to have you here for our first Sunday of September, but it is our second Sunday since our season opener last week here on Cultivating Voices live poetry. Well, if it is the first Sunday of the month, which it is the first Sunday of the month, you are joining us on Cultivating Voices live poetry for our Poets Focus, where we take a word and look at it together with two featured poets and then poets on the open mic prismatically through a single word or phrase. Today's first word of our Poets Focus of our fall season is the word we. Kim comes up with these words mostly, and I love the idea that we would begin our Poets Focus with a word that is so embodies the idea of community, the we. And we have two phenomenal featured poets, Margo Berdeshevsky and Don Krieger, who will start us off, and then we will move to all of you, the we, for our open mic Poets Focus on the word we. Well, I'm your host, Sandy Yannone. I am overjoyed, exuberant, and eager to get started to hear all the poetry today. And I'm joining you today from LaConner, Washington, in the beautiful Skagit Valley, north of Seattle, about an hour and a half north of Seattle. And if you're familiar with the LaConner and Skagit Valley area, you'll know Skagit Valley hosts its very own poetry festival every fall, as well as in the spring, it has the most exquisite tulip festival. So I'm here. I'm part of a women's writing poetry retreat called Poets on the Coast. It was co-founded by Susan Rich and Kelly Russell Agadan, two poets who are members of Cultivating Voices. And I've been here since Friday, just along with a number of members of Cultivating Voices, getting to meet some of them for the first time in person. So it's a real joy to be joining you here from beautiful La Conner, Washington. I'm actually in one of our members' rooms broadcasting today for our Poets Focus on the theme of we. Well, after we hear from our two featured poets, we will move to the open mic where it'll be 3 minutes, one poem, up to 3 minutes. We're going to get as many of you, as many of the we, onto the program today in our 90-minute time frame. And because I have to head right from this to a session for the retreat I'm on, we will stick to that 90 minutes, folks. And I want to just say before I give a few housekeeping tips for the reading today, a big shout out, a big thank you to our poets from last week, our fall season opener. It was our second annual now Poetry Barbecue. And we had the fabulous features, Bill Nevins, Annette Sisson, Beth S.K. Morris, and Catherine Gonick just opened us up beautifully with their new books and a very, very robust open mic and lovely audience to open our fall season. So thank you one and all for joining us last week, and thank you one and all for joining us this week. Well, as I always like to remind folks, the chat is live and kicking. Please use it respectfully and enthusiastically to show your love and appreciation for the poetry that you're hearing from our readers today, as well as you will see links to our featured readers' books and their websites in the chat. And of course, I hope that those of you who have the resources and the inclination and are inspired to do so will purchase books to support the poets and their presses today. And all of you on the open mic, of course, feel free to put in the chat upcoming readings, links to your publications. This is part of the creation of the we. Here on Cultivating Voices, is sharing those resources and opportunities with each other as much as possible. One of the beautiful ways that I was able to participate in a wee piece of we this summer was I was in Ireland in early August, and while I was there, I had the pleasure of seeing a box of books that came in to Salmon Poetry, which is where I'm very fortunate to publish my books, and knew that this was the first shipment of Margo Berdeshevsky's new collection. And I got to be her surrogate and open the box of books and send her a picture. And of course, because Margo's one of my Salmon sisters, you know, we get to exchange emails and conversation at various times. And I just was so humbled and overjoyed and really thankful that Margo entrusted me to open her box of books and send her a picture of her book so she could see it for the first time.
And so I have to say that gave me chicken skin.
Well, so thank you for letting me be like this very, very small part of the journey of you creating your latest collection. Is it still beautiful? It is still beautiful to hear the heart beat. And I just, yeah, I could feel the heart beating when I opened the box. I could feel it. So, now, a little more on the more formal side of Margot's biography. Margo Berdeshevsky, New York City born, writes from Paris, and her new collection, It Is Still Beautiful to Hear the Heart Beat, has just been published by Salmon Poetry. Her other books are Neil Said the Night, which is a hybrid book in half notes from Sundress Publications, Before the Drought from Glasslyre Press, which was a finalist for the National Poetry Series, and Between Soul and Stone, and But a Passage in Wilderness from Sheep Meadow Press, as well as Beautiful Soon Enough, which was a recipient of the first Ronald Sukenik Innovative Fiction Award. Margo has also been blessed with so many other honors, such as the Grand Prize for the Thomas Merton Poetry of the Sacred Award and the Robert H. Winter Award from the Poetry Society of America. I say bonjour to you, Margo. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of our miraculous we. And we look forward to hearing from this beautiful, beautiful book. It is still beautiful to hear the heartbeat. Margo Berdeshevsky.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to you, Sandy. And a particular thank you and get well to Jenny Lendenny. We're both doubling our words, it sounds like. Jenny, thank you. Without you, this book wouldn't be alive, and it is. And so thank you. For our we, let me just give you a word from the introduction to the book. Survivors in our time, we know why we are afraid. I know why I am afraid. But the poems have come both in the chill and in the heat, wanting to let the black bird fall out of my heart and still sing. For before and after. In the land of afterwards, may we remember the poetry of almost, the large animals who never forget, the sand of our first imprint, its infant step. In the land of before, may the infant's first turning be toward grass, its insistence on green, the leaf, its awareness of falling, scarlet and broken, but ready. In the land of our new fear, may I remember yours and the winter's remarkable determination to sleep until April. Puzzle. Handprints in ancient cave art were left by women. National Geographic. If the new animal voice cries for my empty bed, hear me. If a wide red wing climbing my cotton gown stills me, hear me. If wars and blued tongues of the night-scarved crows admit what our mothers pretend to forget, will you hear me? when wild horsemen sketched beastmen drawn by girls afraid to tell secrets to their mothers, filled caves, did you hear me? Secrets spread in menstrual reds on a cave's inner walls, did the hills listen? Did you hear me? My bed of old bloods has slept through dreams and revenants. One sky's thickened milk fills silence. Hear me? Silk-tongued as that hour ahead of our last summers. Leaves, handprints, tears the riddles open. Hear me? If the smallest hands, if the last birds, if one unborn poem spills just a little sky, we were not killed, were born. Mother, hear me. Now all seasons. Come, my eyes, back into this that the burned city sees as me, one skin at a time. Body I cannot hold any more than love, the lover once told me, was like holding water in your arms. Love is like holding water in your arms, he said so many times, and that the stars were the bones of our ancestors. I don't have ancestors, or I do. I know I am a wild leaf, no tree. I have always been afraid of not seeing, not loving, not being held. A skull holds eyes and then does not. Mine are near the burned mounds now. And the lover, that one, and the ones before and after gone from my arms so that only nights hold me with their loose lid. Skin whispering, go to the soul now, darling child. Darling, aged woman, be with the soul. There is none else to hold you. And eyes are not meant for only hills or graves, but the one like water in my arms. The love that cannot be held, the soul that is on a wide slant, I want to see that. Come, my eyes, back into the water that washes me while I am with its late trees. Their bloodletting. Come to me now, all seasons, layers of my skin to be. Pain, after and after, buried himself, cried, like a departing wind in the palms rattling, the quiet of no more God, and no more flesh between his fists, brother, and no more first green breath shooting up with, you have tilled me, made me, the boy made man, stood severed, mark on his inner eye that would be heart hereafter. God, he whispered, you, I who never killed, but pulled a root from the good brown soil, learned from you who loved blood better. He didn't believe it, looked at his large hands that had held the little brother's throat like a tiny bird, hands that had scraped black stones and planted and were forbidden now, no planting. He was tired, rubbed his eyes like a littler boy, knelt, used his hands to scrape a bed in the earth under the billion stars coming out. Eyes of God who would never lay in his bed, he'd made. Never slept, not now, not ever. Goddamn. Ripening. Dawn has no eagles, no claws, no butterflies, a soul silence only monasteries and mountaintop holies had before. But that was before. And this is day at the end of beginning. There was only going to be a beginning once. You have started at the end to watch without eyes, to love without voice, to wait for your flesh to be written by your own unmade bed. A heartbeat born out of fear and soothed by silence. Nothing is gifted but walls and grace and white space. How could it be grace? The blind eye insists and the wall holds its counsel. Your marriages have not happened yet. Not the first, not the second, not the third, and the one in the dark. That person, someone has informed you, has died. You will learn to be sad. The lover has not said this was not a marriage yet. And the rapist has not said, you can go now, yet. And the unrequited has always remained so. You are pure without knowing why. You are not clean, you are not dressed, but you are not spoiled. You do not understand arithmetic or viral sciences. You are a swan-necked girl with large hips and a starvation for God. A femme in silk. You are flame before it is stone. You are walking toward you, trembling with wish, dough with no forest to hide you. Your blood cells already know there are no promises. What if no one touches you ever? There is no birthday, no double helix, no mother, no father, no messengers, but your word is his name, whispered in storm, is a handprint on water, is sprouted from the vernal branch along with its single leaf. You must learn to open. If this is meant to be a tree, what is a woman then? Gather her into your own sleep, your body, stone, ripening. And to end, from the winter of. One of these is true. All the animals were making love. It was the day for it. All the other animals but a wolf, who hid listening to the slide trombone of his own breath, who lay in a dim room, quiet but for the simmer of breaths of the lovers outside. It was their day. There was no lock on the room, only a belief that he was meant to lie in the silence, breathe in the dim, not meant to question, no howling, no questions. He slept, warmed by the high fever of his belief. Once upon a time, there were bodies strewn and none to gather them. It was a massacre. That's why we remember the day. Death had shot and gotten away with it. That's what survivors said, warmed by the high fever of their belief. It was one single arrow of passion, and Eros was good with it. Whom it struck loved and was loved in return, until it hurt the heart. No questions were allowed. The poison of love was a perfect killer. Everyone wanted to taste the poison, warmed by the high fever of their belief. Once upon a time, there was a peaceful body born who loved everyone and everything on earth and in the air. No one had taught her. She would lie down in silence on a road or a field to stop bullets or souls. She believed in the power of her thought. If warriors came with flags and swords and bombs and God on their side, stop, said her naked woman body, paused in the path of their attacks. She's on fire, observers saw. And loving her, stop, said the covens of owls, stop, said the murder of crows, stop, said eyes from branches to the east, branches to the stop, west, stop, said the hawk who loved wars. Stop, murmured the dove, who knew the hawk very well. And her naked body whispered, God does not love warriors. A whisper that pierced their hearts, that wanted to be loved by their own God. There, whispered the woman, looking to a sky she believed she saw. Do you know what to do now, God? Warmed by the high fever of her belief. One of these is true, or almost, a gift from the winter. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I am just taking some breaths as I am continuing to breathe in those poems. The new book, would you mind just, there we go, there we go, yes. Beautiful, it is still beautiful to hear the heart beat. It is a collection of such, I want to say mythic, mystic, and epic transmutations. That's the word. They transcend. They belie the very language that they are made of. Kind of like the stars. They are like the stuff of stars. They transcend the very materials they are made of, the very language they are made of. I marvel at this collection, and it's, Kim said it in the chat as well. The imagery, it is so lush, it is so transcendent, and it to me, it is so lyrical. It just sings, it sings, and I have no choice but to open my heart further to the poems. I have no choice, and that to me is the mark of what I want poetry to do. I want it to take me that way, and I thank you for the journey. I thank you for the journey. It's just extraordinarily beautiful collection. Thank you so much, Margo. It is full of the stuff of we, and it transcends all seasons. Beautiful. Thank you for this beautiful reading.
If I may, I urge you to go to the Salmon bookshop at the moment, because number 47 has made a mess of international mail. So better to order from Salmon bookshop and
Yes. Order
have it
direct.
in your hands and in your heart as quickly as you
Yes.
can.
Order it directly from Salmon. I agree, or possibly the poet if you want to do that. But like, plus also, it is very, very fun to get mail from Ireland. So fear not, folks. I get books from Ireland all the time. It is very, very easy to order the book from the Salmon bookshop. if you are not able to go in person, which I also recommend, because then you can say hi to Jesse and you can say hi to Willow, the beautiful
Hello,
dog.
Willow. Hello,
Willow.
Jesse Lendeni. I'll pronounce it properly this time.
And all the other whenever I'm there, magic happens, people come in, incredible things. So if you're able to get to the bookshop itself, do it. Make a day trip for yourself if you're over in Ireland. Fly in from anywhere.
I want to go
Just
in your
go.
pocket the next time you're over there.
Once again, the book it is still beautiful to hear the heartbeat. And my heart is beating very fully. Thank you so much, Margo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful opening to our Poets Focus today on our theme of we. However we're gonna define that. Well, we're gonna move now to a person that is just so strongly rooted in the constellation of my we, on my daily we. Don Krieger is like at the top of the list. I still to this day, I remember one of the very first times Don read me his poem, Our Shared Humanity. And if that forgotten it. I've never forgotten every subsequent time he's read it. And now he has a collection that just continues in that tradition of what he was doing in the first collection that I was introduced to, which was Discovery. He continues now with his collection. Here's why he's here today. We in America. I believe that Don is a powerful, powerful voice that speaks truth to power in this, what I actually wrote in a poem this weekend, our very misguided century, our extremely misguided century. And Don's poetry helps us to remember and hold on to what the truest sense of what it means to be part of a conscious and thinking and feeling member of a global community. And that's not just human creatures, that's all, with all creatures and with the earth itself. So I when I think of a person that I have such unwavering respect for, Don Krieger, that's it. There's my name. That's the name that kind of first comes up. And the poetry follows him. The poetry follows that. So I know he doesn't like me saying all these things about him, but they're true. So they're true to me. So I'm grateful to have you be here representing the word we, because I think you represent it so well. And I've never seen a moment, either privately or publicly on this platform, that you have not done that. And you do that all over the world where you bring your poetry and how you also support other poets. You are just the embodiment of we at every turn. So thank you. And I'm looking forward to hearing and sharing this moment with everyone to hear your poetry from We in America. Well, the more formal biography is this, my friends, before I get to, as Barbara Streisand would say, verklempt here. Don Krieger is a retired clinical neurophysiologist, university professor, and biomedical engineer. If you didn't know those things, I'm sure that you've just been very wowed by that information, because most of us just know him as this amazing friend and person that supports us every single week with Cultivating Voices live poetry through his own poetry and by supporting all of us with ours. But this is the other things that Don does. He is a member of PEN America and author of 3 hybrid collections: Discovery from 2020, When Danger is Past, Who Remembers from 2022, and as I mentioned, the latest collection, We in America 2024, which, is a book that necessarily continues to need to be sort of front and center with us as we continue through this misguided century. He was a 2020 Creative Nonfiction Foundation Science as Story Fellow, and his poetry has appeared in the haiku column of the Asahi Shimbun, Beltway Quarterly, American Journal of Nursing, Mid-America Review, and many others. And his essays have appeared in the Seneca Review, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, the Times of Israel, and others. And this is perhaps one of my favorite things about him is that his poetry has been translated into Farsi, Greek, Italian, German, Turkish, Romanian, Hindi, and Portuguese. And I love knowing that his poetry is traveling not only among people in the English-speaking language, but in many, many other languages, to truly do what he writes, which is to share humanity. Would you please welcome the one half of the group that we could not do this program with, Don Krieger.
Thanks, Sandy. And thank you, Margo, and all those who are going to come after. I look forward to all of you always. That's why I'm here. I think, Margo, I heard your work first through a reading that I think it was curated by Indran Amirtanayagam. I think you were old friends, and it's wonderful to hear your work. I have to buy that book. All of these pieces are in We in America. Well, that's not working. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This isn't about the book, but except I'll say that I'll post a link where you can download this book. The book is free. You can buy a paper copy too, but just download it. I continue to add to it, so it's better that way. Our dead are different from yours. 30 years ago, construction halted on I-279. Down from Penn Brewery and North Catholic, bones were found where Veckley Church had stood. 727 dead were sifted from the earth and cataloged, while backhoes, pavers, politicians, and lawyers stood by. The Veckley remains were separated for burial and laid with a single marker. Present were scientists, reporters, and Dorothy Davies, baptized at Veckley Church 80 years before. No living relative was ever found, but the Veckley dead were on protected ground and respected. Last fall, the Standing Rock Sioux found sacred ground on the Dakota Access Pipeline path. Now their dead lie pulverized beneath an easement and 30-inch pipe cradled in cement. It's our dead are different from yours. This piece is one of the three from the times of Israel that's in the book. Unveiling on Yom Kippur. I entered the synagogue last night for the Kol Nidre service, past two armed and armored police. I kept noticing how cold and uneasy I felt, not like someone among friends praying together in cushioned chairs, but like one of the condemned. I wondered what difference I could make if someone burst in with a machine gun blazing. When it was time for the mourner's Kaddish, a few stood in remembrance of their dead family members. I stood too, and though I have no faith, I prayed with the congregation, but in remembrance of the Palestinians who died a year ago today. They are my kin as surely as the strangers sitting around me in that synagogue. All of us are complicit, yet we are helpless to do differently. How can we fail to support Israel? It will always be a refuge for all of us whose ancestors were herded together and murdered. Yet how can we support doing precisely the same to Palestinians, who Israel brutalizes, who Israel herds together and displaces by the hundreds of thousands, like cattle being moved from one pasture to the next? On October 27, 2018, a monster shouting, "Jews will not replace us," opened fire at the Tree of Life synagogue. 3 days later, the first of the murdered were buried. One was husband to my coworker and friend. 11 months later, I wrote Unveiling. The Jewish Chronicle turned it down, but the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette published it. Unveiling. 11 lives taken at the Tree of Life. Hours later and miles away, our writing workshop canceled. Our chance for defiance, however small, gone. I waited at the funeral with hundreds to pass security. Newsboys on the street asking, with their cameras, who is afraid? I watched her halting walk to his grave, reluctant like a child. I followed like a child, with a shovel full of earth to cover him. I listened to the learned, seeking meaning, hundreds crowded into the Beth Shalom basement, police in armor at the entrance. When the doors locked behind us, I noticed the dampness and a draft on my bare neck. Today was 11 months, hundreds standing witness in the warmth beneath the trees. I still live, so I was there. I wonder, though, would we have canceled our workshop for a drive-by at a playground? In the beginning, there are no slaves. No, wrong in the beginning. Sorry. Martha's dowry and George's will. Our first president was one of the few who was not carried away by power. Robert Frost. He was 11, heir to the family farm and 10 slaves. Later that year, he bought 8 more and yet another 7 as a young man. He lived 3 generations. At his death, he owned 123 and 153 More. Martha's dowry doubled in their 20-year marriage, his and hers hostage to the law, destined for return to her first husband's heirs. George's death freed his own, though he left it to Martha to sign their deeds. He was our first king in all but name. He could have ended it and redeemed the nation. Principled and elegant, said Abigail Adams. Comments from my dear friends. You disrespect the father of our country. Most people owned slaves. You would have too. It's not poetry. And here's the next one. It's an epistolary to my dear friend in response. On the night of July 17, 1944, black naval work gangs loaded bombs and live munitions onto two cargo ships at Port Chicago on the Sacramento River. At 10:18, explosions destroyed both vessels and the pier, killing 320, including all of the loaders. The black seamen who had been off duty were ordered to clean up the decimated base, including their dead colleagues, and then resume loading operations downriver at Mare Island. 252 protested. When threatened with court-martial, 202 returned to work. And though defended by Thurgood Marshall, 50 were convicted of mutiny and sentenced to 15 years in prison. Their white officers were given 30 days hardship leave. That familiar comfort. The river at Port Chicago was pink in the dawn glare. Strangely like that night, they fled for their lives. Biplanes spotlit by burning buildings, kerosene bombs bursting on the roofs, clubs and rifles, white boys and their fathers, beasts hunting little Africa for black runners. Do you know this story? The Tulsa pogrom of 1921, 6,000 black people jailed, no whites, the Greenwood ghetto burned to the ground, no insurance ever paid, no crime ever charged, the dead uncounted. I never knew it till today. I bear that shame, small price for my privilege. From this day I forswear that familiar comfort, the cowardice of forgetting. A new world. I gashed my knee, my head too, maybe a broken rib. Someone at work offered a bed so he could check me through the night. As a kid, I often fell. A stone under a skate, a bike crash. When a scrape bled or that time they found me, head against a tree root, no one said a word or seemed to care. I didn't either. If they see my frailty, though, how long will I hold my job? How much safer to look good now that I'm old. At the Giant Eagle, an old man stares at the pay pad till the clerk presses the button for him. I use cash so I won't look like that. Outside, they walk by laughing, hand in hand, or just looking at each other. I don't notice their color, only that they're young and have accents I don't understand. At the lotto counter, we wait, our faces and posture American, surrendered to hope and chance like trees. We could do something with life in it, look at each other, or at least at those faces on the street. Is that why we hate them, saying what they please, acting like they're free? Lately, people talk faster than I can listen, like I'm sitting on a bench and they're running by. Maybe I'm listening too deep to keep up, because under the talk, I see the vitality of their thought and hear our shared humanity. It's getting worse, and I'm often near tears, but it feels like freedom. I want to close with the back cover. I'll read just that last paragraph of the We in America is a call to all Americans and to people all around the world. We must understand and accept responsibility for the harms we have done as a nation to our own and to others. With its cover haiku, but for wars and wealth, we in America were never great. It defies both President Trump's trademark, Make America Great Again, and the righteous boasts with which we deceive ourselves. Revelations from the Gulf of America. And that picture is from the State Department website, by the way. Our dead are different from yours. That frightens me. Sociopathy. Nothing is more seductive. Privilege, indifference to the innocent suffering is a sickness. But for wars and wealth, we in America were never great. We cling to platitudes because they're easy and we long to believe. My nation is great. God is good. We who count the dead on a scoreboard. May we, may we always remember, understand, and care enough to do better sooner, even when we don't want to.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Don, this collision of history and responsibility is one powerful arm of what poetry is needed to do. And you teach me that every time I hear you read a poem. And that is like that is no small thing. And I appreciate all of these lessons that I too would like to forget. And what you teach me is that that I'm really on this planet not to forget. And that is the true work of, it's one of the pillars of being alive, is to not forget. Is to not forget. And I really get that from your poetry. The book is We in America, and it is everything and more that you have just heard today. I cannot do the book justice in terms of my rantings about it. I urge you all, particularly because Don offers this book at no cost, to spend time with this poetry, with this history, and with our responsibilities to be members of the global community that we are, and how can we more responsibly navigate that each day, even from corners of the world where our governments are not they are not the models of what are serving us to be able to do that. Please use poetry to do that wherever we go. Thank you so much, Don. I'm going to turn us now to your interpretations of the word we for our Poets Focus here today on Cultivating Voices live poetry. And we've got 12 folks on the waiting, 12 folks on the list, and we hope to get to the waiting list as well. Folks, please do adhere to the 3 minutes. As you know, I don't like to interrupt you while you're reading, and that includes any comments that you have about your poem, because we really would like to hear as many of you as possible today, particularly because this is, because of our Poets Focus on the word we. So we will begin. And our first, and I'm going to minimize my comments. I'm really just going to introduce each of you to the degree that is possible for me to do. I'm practicing. So our first reader today is Harvey Soss, which will be followed by Mona Zamfirescu. Welcome.
Thank you. And I'd just like to take about 5 seconds to refer you to the chat where I've posted an invitation to Artful Dodger's poetry next reading, September 20th, which will be in person and virtual as well.
Thank you.
This
As
is
always.
because sometimes we work together, although I've always been a sole practitioner. A garden of penitence. The care that these obedient gardeners lavish upon their charges, attending to annuals and perennials equally, as penitents working off community service assigned to a diocesan garden they never allow themselves. A corps of early risers whistling while they work like Snow White, 7 dwarves, a bit sleepy, a bit grumpy, a bit iffy. Raggedy overalls slipping off shamed shoulders bent over fresh plantings. Hi-ho, it's off to work they go, raking and hoeing, pricked by rose thorns, they suck oozy blood from torn fingertips, having foregone the use of garden gloves. Giving themselves over to God's protection, they glance upwards for advice on creation and approval, as if to say by way of expiation, I deserve these stigmata, Lord sinner that I am. Hoes and rakes and shovels deployed in defense of plant life's renewal. Counting down the days to a blossoming resurrection, they palpate a plot of land bounded by a chicken wire fence with bare hands in the feverish resolve of supplicants, of applicants for sainthood, performing all the scut work required for the garden's yearly recreation without complaint. Gardeners avoiding small talk, seeing no need to compare or explain, certainly not to the show me crowd of doubters. Reports have been circulated of them dropping to their knees as if shot, heedless of grass stains, to pray for sun or rain, as instructed by a voice not heard by us, stopping briefly to fetch from rusty lunch boxes loaves and fishes, mineral water, a ritual pair of orange slices, routine fare for anyone chosen to run as part of Team One God, the annual months-long marathon from winter's paradise lost to a paradisiacal spring. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Harvey. What a great poem to begin our examination today on our Poet's Focus on the word we. And our next poet, also from New York, New York, New Jersey, yeah, both. Mona Zamfirescu, followed by Gina Sangster. So nice to see you, Mona.
Thank you, Sandy. Likewise, so good to be back and see everyone. My poem is called Metamorphosis. She never stops. The small drill is buzzing white in nitrile fingers. In the morning light, she floods the room with Spartan generosity. On the walls up to the ceiling, the heartleaf philodendron creeps its roots in and out of pots, spiraling high, medicinal, elemental, like her, the aerophyte. Relentlessly green, relentless. Her thumb on my gum. Does it hurt? Does it hurt? Hijab tucked in white scrubs, gray, fatigued, like the limp of her step. She shuffles. Behind the plastic face cover, the shifting map of the old country. The patchy yellow of her skin. History magnified. The war that never ends. Underexposed the negatives of children lined in hunger. She asks about mine. She always asks about mine. I, open-mouthed, nod in allegiance. The floss, the soft brush, the peace. Everything that hurts that we don't talk about. Fibula, tibia fracture, she whispers. I can't describe the pain. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mona. So great to have you with us, and hope to see you soon. Well, Gina Sangster is next, and this may be your first time on the program, I think, and if I am correct about that, I want to give you an even more open-hearted welcome than I
Thank you.
tried to give to everyone, because I'm very excited when everyone comes. So welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you.
My poem is called Our Sons, dedicated to my friend Catherine. We both confess to doing our adult sons' laundry, feeling the world out there isn't hospitable for them, especially for hers with his chronic illnesses, but mine too, though he looks like he can handle whatever life throws his way. He was supposed to have a life of the mind and reads Foucault, Freud, and Fanon at breakfast before hitting the road for a long day of garage floor tile sales. My girls found safe places to land, as I did once upon a time. Or have mothers always feared more for their sons trying to make their way in the world? Thank you. Thanks.
Much. Wow, thank you much. I look forward to you being with us more. Please bring more poetry. Wonderful. Well, now we have the pleasure of hearing from Neil Daswani, followed by Stephe Watson. Welcome, Neil. Just double check. I know Neil was coming in and out. Let me just check my list and make sure he's still in the room.
Hello.
Hello,
Can you
there
hear
you
me?
are. Yes, we can hear you fine.
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with the video as well. So, very short. Thank you for having me. This is my first time I'm reading. I've
Yeah, thank you. I
participated.
know you've been here before, of course, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's great to have your voice with us today.
thank you so much. So I'm going to read a poem from one of my books, one of my collections called All the Shades of Truth. And it's perhaps a little premature in that we will all be remembering those who fell on 9/11 a few days into the next week, and also thinking about praying for those left behind who sort of still grieve right to this day. So lest we forget. 24 years on, we still pray for all the firefighters who fought and then fell, dousing fires that blazed on in an inferno of hell. For all the policemen who didn't live on to share the relief of those they'd helped down the stairs. For the selfless souls who tried to find any colleague who'd been left behind. For those who never made it out of towers 1 and 2. For those who were hijacked, passengers and crew. For all the heartbroken husbands, for the grieving wives, for those who lost siblings and went on with their lives. For all the children who lost a parent that day. For all the parents for whom the sky has stayed gray. So 24 years on, we pledge never to forget. In the rosary of recall, our memories deep set. The roll call of remembrance, each name gets read. A prayer for the Pantheon, for those who are dead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Neil. Yeah, the roll call of remembrances. There are far too many events for which we now are called to do that. And I appreciate those of us who hold the memories to do that. Thank you so much, Neil. I look forward to next time with you as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you. Well, I'm thinking of my brother Stephe Watson there in Connecticut, because now I'm out in the West. But I'm thinking, he and I share an interest in another kind of roll call of remembrances, for particularly those children in Sandy Hook, Newtown, Connecticut, and yeah, and Neil's poem is reminding me of that, as well as Don's poems, of course. So thank you for being here today, Steve. And
Hello.
hello.
I'll just start right in. Thank you. A walker fancying himself a hiker on a walk, self-narrated as an expedition. The incline is gentle, consistent, insistent, and yet I insist, as I am inclined to do, to think it steeper. In fact, to think deeper about most things. A walker, I. Ponderosa and pinyon pines with greens so dark they suckle the sun of light. Give way as I make my way lumberingly and less than limberly uphill. From thick, ruddy red-brown barks I rise through ponderosa pines, then needle darkening, the pinyon mothering the juniper, clambering up the hard-scrabble rubble canyon walls, a silent fortress for sounds, shades most welcome. A walker, I. The time-twisted pinion well below, the needles, never solo. Their groupings of twos, of three, and fives have fallen away. From my view, as their cones will do, the cones, some in pairs, and all in their very many scents and stickinesses, and all their very many shapes and sizes, and sometimes pairings, have also come and gone as I'd come and gone. Their underfoot crunchings have long since had their echoes lost in this land, as am I, lost in this land, a walker, I. And now the aspen, my breath drawn out, a tenuous, tremulous quaking and lost to the stones. It could be the elevation, could be the exertion. It could, of course, be the aspen. A walker, I take a knee. For breath? For study? No. A genuine genuflection, my mouth agape, these eyes wider still, words of marvel, of awe, of God? And no mere cynicism this, nose to ground, eyes to sky, I cry a silent cry, sans why, a walker I. Among the chartreuse green, among the white trunks, the autumn yellows buried, burrowed, beneath these greens, all these greens, I kneel, I feel, I kneel a walker. I now within this faithless chapel, parchment white dappled by darkening eyes, a thousand eyes, kindly ignoring, kindly witnessing me. Non-conscious meditation, egoless contemplation, a pullulation of elation, ululation, interruption of me. Eruption in me, eruption of me, a walker I. I am anew within this tree, for a stand of aspen is one tree, and I stand and kneel within one tree, and yet tree seems to be all around. A walker I found a journey on a walk. I found this epic in the prosaicity of an afternoon jaunt. I found the many within the one. I found one within the many. I found me within a tree.
Oh, I found the many within one. Oh, I love, yeah, wow, that interplay of the I and we. Yeah, amazing. And the tree, of course. Beautiful. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Oh, I hope you'll read that to me in person
I
someday.
will. I
Okay,
promise.
thank you. Oh, wow. Um, you know what? I love these poets' focuses where we take the word and we look at it prismatically. They are really powerful and magical and many, many other adjectives and just so many perspectives. And that's what I really, really love is all the different perspectives that I think help me like widen my own. So I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. I love that Ken Burch is following Stephe Watson. I don't know that this has ever happened, and I'm really curious to see how this mini constellation within the whole constellation will materialize. So hi Ken, and I'm in
Hi,
your neck of
Sandy.
the
Hi, everyone.
woods. It's good to see you.
Okay, well, I made this right before we went on. It was kind of a meditation on we. I guess I used it as a prompt. As long as one ear hears one word being read by one voice, as long as, as long as, as long as, as long as one voice sings one note to one listener, as long as long as long as long as one listener hears one sound played on one string, as long as long as the existence of we remains, every bar on every cell holding each free soul, just barely holding them, yet not holding them truly within, is a moment away from dissolving, leaving only space to walk through, to climb through, to fly through, in what had been its useless place. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, you did not disappoint. You did not disappoint. Thank you so much. Yeah, one voice to one listener. That's all it takes, friends, to create a we is one voice to one listener. And we do that every time we get together. So thank you. Thank you for that beautiful reminder. As long as. That's Ken Burch, everyone. Now we get to go to Florida. Again, another fabulous, fabulous poetry citizen. I'm always so grateful, Lenny, when you join us. Lenny DellaRocca, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, guys. This is called Out of the Question. It has an epigraph from Andre Breton that says, "Speak according to the madness that has seduced you." Mirror in my hand, and miles away, mirror in yours. I've never heard the ocean in a shell, so whisper, lover, and put your lips to mine. Something's falling through the music, innuendo, comet. I don't know which will die first. I don't know glass from light. Somewhere the sea roars with lace. Somewhere your legs fill my arms. Sweat and muscle between us like torsos in darkened museums. Headless because the heads are lost. I didn't know a woman could make love with her eyes. Through a looking glass where the world and ceiling spin above us. It's red, my favorite color. Your hair in my hands, the sweetest days. Did I leave once or did you not return? Which life was it, the left or right one? The one we never speak of because one of them has children, wondering, wasn't someone just here with breakfast, someone with a cape who remedies arithmetic and scrapes? I lied. It's blue, the color of certain stars, the ones that foretell the future. What if I could slip through the glass and walk in the waves you speak of, my feet sinking into your world? You don't know where you are. It's why you're frightened. There's an animal in you clawing for a way out. You touch something on my side of the mirror, and flowers run through fields dressed in flamboyant colors, blazing. Something in you smolders, but you won't say which side you want. The one with a cat on a pillow, or the one with nudes dancing away down a one-way street. Strangers know when they do it for the first time, they want it to be the first time always, but nothing is always. The lovers are always crashed in waves after walking through them, sizzling. You're wet. I pull something around you, you tug it off. This is fantasy, isn't it? Two people in two rooms with 1,000 miles between them, right and left of the real world. Come to me through the looking glass, lover. Come to me in waves. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Letty, I just want to say if I ever do an anthology of poems related to glass, I am coming after that poem so fast. So very fast. Ooh, the strangeness of we that are lovers. That's it. There it is. Beautiful. Thank you so much. I can't wait to the next poem. All right, friends, we move forward and oh, and now we get to hear from Jude Marr. Like, wow, love this reading today. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And now Jude.
Thank you, Sandy. I'm actually going to read a short one from, it's an old one from this old book, We Know Each Other by Our Wounds, still available if anyone hasn't got it. It's called On Viewing a Spider Installation. At the cracks, the cross, the spider crotch, thread legs emerge, leg roots set in stone. Inside spider's stone egg body, lifeblood, stone blood. We make science in our image, Spider says, but art is all distortion. My rootless fear eats my soul like a camera. I turn my back to the lens. I am body, Spider says. I am fear. I fear I can no longer see your face. We are a freak museum, I say. My spider heart, your twisted threads.
Ooh, we are a freak museum. Ooh, damn, that's good. Thank you. Thanks for bringing that poem today. Amazing. Oh, Jude Marr. Yes, put the book in the chat, Jude, please, if you haven't already. I'm getting a little overwhelmed by all the poetry. Some, it hits a tipping point where basically I dissolve and I can't really process. So please do put the book in the chat. All right, folks, we move on now. Maurice Corlett. Maurice Corlett, beautiful to have you with us today.
Well, thanks, Sandy.
So great. Oh yeah, thank you. Please.
Okay, this is called Last Kiss. When I kissed Lynn on the railway platform in Wagga, her lips were moist and full. It was the best kiss we had had in a while. It could have been a kiss at the end of a marriage, a sort of this is the end of everything. 50-odd years together dissolved in an instant. That's a long while. At times we have been like a couple of convicts locked together on a chain gang, but then the fever kicks in again. We're like a sailing boat cutting through a sparkling sea. I wonder how long it is before we pass over. Another 10, 15 years together. I hope it's a good time, yet as we are only just getting to know one another. Thank you.
Thank you. Kim was there shaking her head. That's when we know. That's when we know. Yep, it's all good. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Until
Thank you,
next
Sandy.
time. Until next time, of course. Beautiful. Love it. Catherine Ronan. Who knows what Catherine Ronan is going to contribute to the we today? And let's find out. Shall
Well, the we that I've chosen is the we in front of the pagan goddess Cliona. And I'm going to dedicate it to my friend Antoinette, who was buried yesterday in a graveyard, ancient graveyard, very near here. Cliona. Now we are free to kiss ancient mouths in our time, sweet apples from a golden tree, wake, alive, healed. Trembling steel trays, land of concrete promise, underneath a calico blanket, everything revealed. 3 birds sing blarney. We hear them in lusty stone, for all the world is red in white matted hair. You rise from the waves, kiss O'Sullivan cheeks, wet feet in West Cork, fairy of the hills, never too weak to speak. We hear you on the tides, whispering through the trees, Cliona, queen of the banshees.
I think your friend heard you. Yep. Yes. And that is what poetry can do. We can reach across to the other side with it and come back. Thank you. And I'm very, very sorry for the loss. And the dialogue will continue, of course. Fabulous. I'm glad you brought that to the program today. It's Catherine Ronan, everyone. From now, the place that I can say I've been to now, West Cork. Thank you so much. All right. Carrie Lilley, I feel like I thank you for being here last week. Thank you for being here this week. And I just feel very happy because I feel like I'm in LaConner and I know it's not really down the road, but anytime I can be a little closer to you, I feel a bit I feel a bit less forlorn about things. So I'm glad to be a little closer in proximity.
Thank you, Sandy. It's always good to see you.
Yeah, same here.
Midnight in the repo lot. Yesterday's portal to today's rendezvous of tension and possibility, a hymnal with pages of songs someone wrote then left behind, a sprawling expanse on cities' forgotten edges, those cities you left with no intention of coming back, where headlights don't flicker and silent cars are monuments, like stories unraveled in a backseat dream, a realm where commerce and loss intertwine between the mote and hiss of indifferent stars, and the world's machinery is a breath running out of all the human breaths it took to make it, or unmake it. At midnight, the repo lot becomes a stage. The blinking wrong-sided moon casts a silver net over sedans with a cracked windshield, trucks with that groan and roar down highways, coops of frayed memories of laughter and arguments, each vessel, each vehicle an artifact, a relic from lives now surrendered. Chain link fences topped with razor wire defines the borders of this domain, and it's a signed sky and all the weather that falls on it. Shadows crisscross the gravel, a lattice through which the world is both visible and unreachable. An old street lamp throws a pool of jaundiced holiday lights over the entrance where the sign has corroded, and to give back everything highway murmurs. But here, time moves differently, measured by the cat paw echoes of someday maybe footsteps, and the creak of doors opening and then opening more, to the no one you need and can respect for putting you off for so long rambles through, and you're into it now, into the true and ugly of it. And you're way out in the hedges of where you never imagined you'll be.
That's Gary Lilley, everyone.
Sandy seems a little frozen, but let's hang in there and see if she comes back on.
Maybe we could just go on to Kate.
Yes, why don't we go ahead and hear from Kate? Thank you so much, Gary. It was an amazing poem. So great to have you with us today. Kate Wegrzyn, take it away.
Hey, an honor to follow Gary. Yeah. Woo! Yeah. So here I am. I kind of jumped to the we last week and I read my favorite we poem. But now I tell you, I was invited to share my poetry by Antje Sten. I was unable to travel to Italy. Antje created a gathering of poets in the USA, and it was via presenter Gloria Mindock of Sorvana Barva Press. The readers in the USA were wonderful people, many of them who were raised decades ago in the Persian countries. This is my poem. Epigraph to 14th century Persian poet Hafez. The earth would die if the sun stopped kissing her. Epigraph to 13th century Persian poet Said. Awaken the morning Nowruz breeze is showering the garden with flowers. Wind follows us all. Sacred Euphrates and Tigris River in Iraq. Join Arvand Red River in Iran. Water is life. River Rivers sing songs the heart hear, yet wind has but one name. Lofty mountains, ancient forests reach above coastal Persian Gulf. Narrow Strait of Hormuz gives safety as we berthed into Gulf of Oman, Gahar Lake's largest in the world. As a child, I learned to run as fast as the wind. Others ahead of me, some lag behind, tumble and fall, begin again, yet terrain has its own call. Prolific Persian gardens in every province of Iran, reflecting pools, vegetation of floral glory. Attentive gardeners greet all visitors with the love of place, lends to the love of poetry. Oh, dream the statuesque cities, architecture, skyward columns, artistic creations, extraordinary tile motifs, culture to behold across distant villages of an ancient people, UNESCO honoring 26 World Heritage Sites. Oh, dream the visions of hope and peace. Always let the wind remind me what I ran from. Thank you.
Beautiful, Kate. Thank you so much for sharing that today. And I think we have time for one more quick poem. Amy, can you close us out beautifully and quickly today? You're the first person on our waiting list. How about it?
Okay, I would do that.
Wonderful. Great to have you with us, Amy.
Thanks, Kim. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here again. And after listening to Dawn earlier, I decided to craft this poem as well. And the title is Gaza. We watch from far as blood is spilled, as silence falls, as cries are stilled. We see them sleep on broken ground, with all they own now lost, unbound. We watch them flee with nowhere left, their lives uprooted, hope suppressed. We cannot touch, but still we pray for peace to come, to light their way. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. That was fabulous. And I believe Sandy has made it back into the Zoom.
Yeah,
Are you
perfect.
here, Sandy?
I am.
Okay.
Thank
Take
you.
us home, girl. I already announced the upcoming events. I know you've got a deadline to get out of here.
Oh, wow. Okay, you've already announced the upcoming events. Wow, I really did go off screen then. I wasn't even aware of it. Apologies, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for really embodying the tapestry of we today in a very prismatic way that we all came together and where we were all able to travel. Thank you, of course, to our featured readers at the top of the hour, Margo Berdeshevsky and Don Krieger, and all of you on the open mic, Harvey, Mona, Gina, Neil, Steve, Ken, Lenny, Jude, Maurice, Catherine, Gary, Kate, Amy, and next time, Josephine, Mona, and Isaac, please come back in 2 weeks on the open mic, and we will get you. We will try to prioritize to get you on, get your voices on the open mic for our wild card in 2 weeks. But just another quick mention. Next week, another quick reminder: we have our first season, our first new book showcase of the fall season. Two of my favorite hosts in the world, Doris Sieper and Lauren McNamara of Lime Square Poets will be with us, as well as two phenomenal poets with two books that I have loved in this past year. You won't want to miss Dion O'Reilly and Jason Schneiderman. That's our program for today, folks. Thank you so much.
Can we all cheer,
Oh, yeah, I
Sandy?
meant
We
to
didn't
say-
get to do that.
No, you're right. We need to let's take a moment, unmute, and
Yay.
let's
Yay.
Bravo, bravo.
Bye.
That is us.
Bye. See you.
Yay,
Yay.
yay.
Thank you.
It is no small thing to gather together in these squares. And I speak for Don and for Kim, and the three of us, we are so grateful when we get to be within the we of all of you.
How do you make those things float up like that? Oh my gosh. I see how
We got ways.
Yes, yes. So, folks, we hope to see all of you next week here on the program. That'll be next Sunday, same time, whatever time zone you're in. Thanks to one and all for being here today. And as I say at the end of every program, take very good care of yourselves this week. There's so much care needed around the world, in the world of we. And take very good care of your beloveds. And of course, keep writing your miraculous poetry. I'm Sandy Yannone for Cultivating Voices Live Poetry. We will see you next week from wherever I am. Take good care. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Blessings, Sandy. And thank you, Kim.
Bye, Sandy. Bye.
Woohoo.
And I'm sorry.